Welcome back for another exciting book talk. Today's Fiction Friday, and I present to you a true work of literature. I was deeply impressed by Jesmyn Ward's book, Where the Line Bleeds. But let me tell you an interesting story about this book. It's considered Bois Sauvage book number 3 as part of the series, and that's weird. That's really, really weird, because this novel was published before the books that are considered books 1 and 2 in the Bois Sauvage series. It's almost as if people in the marketing division of these publishing companies messed up, didn't realize what was going on. But I think there's an explanation for it, time-wise, when you think about the timeline of these stories. Book 1 of the Bois Sauvage series is Salvage the Bones, which I read in 2020, as well as Book 2, Sing Unburied Sing. I gave Salvage the Bones 4 out of 5 stars, Sing Unburied Sing 5 out of 5 stars. Jesmyn Ward greatly impressed me with the quality of her literature. She is influenced by William Faulkner. She's created this community in which her stories take place. So even though it's called a series, it doesn't have the same main characters from book to book. The connection between them is merely the setting that the stories take place in. So I can see how it would be easy for a third book to be lumped into the series, but since they were published out of order, I think the reason that Where the Line Bleeds has been remarketed with a new cover and labeled as book 3 in the series is because it is the same setting. And I was actually really surprised to see one of the characters from Salvage the Bones in Where the Line Bleeds, because that means even though she wrote this first, that character she knew would be around and in the setting doing that stuff. So that was great. But timeline-wise, I think it works out, where the events of Salvage the Bones take place first, Sing Unburied Sing must take place second, and then Where the Line Bleeds must be third in the timeline, even though it was published first. Either way, I would say don't worry too much about the timeline. Don't worry too much about the fact that they're part of a series, other than I hope that that would encourage more people to buy the book and read it. I only gave Where the Line Bleeds 3 out of 5 stars, but I absolutely loved it as a work of literature. My criticisms are just that it has a really slow sense of pacing, which isn't surprising for a work influenced by William Faulkner. And thus, it doesn't have as much of a sense of tension, in that sense of dramatic, plot-driven tension. It's more of a character-driven story than a plot-driven story, I suppose. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like those. It's just a matter of my own opinion. I do believe that Jesmyn Ward has improved with each of her novels, as Salvage the Bones had a better sense of pacing and tension, and Sing Unburied Sing was great overall. I had no complaint at all about the pacing or the tension in it. I recommend that you read this book as a great work of literature, because Jesmyn Ward has cleverly taken a situation of giving us two twin brothers and showing us in a real modern setting what can happen to two brothers in a family in which they are minorities, they are people of low socioeconomic status, their mother has been absent from their lives, which is a pattern in these Jesmyn Ward stories. This time, the mother is sending money to support them while they live with their grandmother, and she's off in another town doing her own thing. Their father, the biological father, who has not really been a part of their lives, is a drug addict who is basically a wandering homeless man who they're scared of. They have every reason to be scared of this man, the way that he shows up in these creepy sort of ways. So it's really obvious that he's going to be a stumbling block, an obstacle at some point in the story. That is clearly being set up from the beginning. But the magic of the story is the two boys graduate from high school at the beginning. They jump off a bridge, showing, their concern about fears in life and their kind of rebirth and renewal as high school graduates. But they aren't going anywhere. They don't have jobs. They don't have plans. And so you see the criticism of our economic situation. And the book clearly calls out places like Walmart and McDonald's and Dairy Queen, where it's low wage, hourly pay, and some of their friends work at these kind of places, but they're being warned everybody's graduating at this point. There aren't really jobs available for them. Eventually, they get a call back from one fun place, but it is serious labor, like physically intense labor, working at the docks, working at the Gulf of Mexico, and they only want one of the twins. And that is a serious issue, because what's the other brother supposed to do? He ends up feeling like a real loser. He has no job. He has no way of financially supporting himself or helping his grandmother, who's in need of help, which is why he turns to doing illegal things. And you see how him becoming a drug dealer creates this serious rift with him and his relationships with all the people around him, especially, of course, his twin brother, and sets him on a course to have to deal with his homeless drug addict of a biological father. It's a really great story. I highly recommend it. I hope that you will enjoy the book. That's it for today's book talk. Every day is a good day for a book talk. Peace.